Good afternoon from London. It's a bright, sunny day here in London. Summer has finally arrived. And hello to all dear comrades, friends and supporters from me, Dr. Dermot Hudson, the chairman of the British Group for the Study of the Juche Idea, chairman of the Korean Friendship Association of the UK, and the official delegate of KFA for the UK, and also the owner of this very self-same channel, Songam 007, of the militant voice of Songam and Juche in the UK, defending people's career with no ifs or buts. And of course, I think it's probably the only UK-based pro-DPRK, pro-Juche, pro-Songam DPRK solidarity channel. And today, two DPRK anniversaries are being marked, and I'm going to speak about both of them and try to explain the context of them. First of all, it is the 61st anniversary of the start of work of comrade Kim Jong Il at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. And secondly, it is the 30th anniversary of comrade Kim Jong Il's work, titled Giving Priority to Ideological Work is Essential for Accomplishing Socialism. So, to address the anniversary of comrade Kim Jong Il starting work at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, decades have flowed like a running stream since June 19th, 1964, when comrade Kim Jong Il started working at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea after successfully graduating from Kim Il-sung University, the most august and highest institution of learning in people's Korea. This anniversary assumes a greater significance in this 80th year since the foundation of the Workers' Party of Korea, which was founded on the 10th of October 1945. It is thanks to the years and decades of work of comrade Kim Jong Il at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea that the WPK, Workers' Party of Korea for short, has emerged as the most durable and strong party when others have collapsed or have been decimated. In fact, many communist parties disappeared after 1989 to 1991. Of course, it cannot be stressed enough that the Workers' Party of Korea, a ruling party in a socialist country, is totally different to political parties in capitalist countries, which are simply electoral machines that aim to get their leaders into high office for which they are paid, and in case of Britain and the US, paid extremely well. Just look at the MP salaries. Anyway, that's another subject. By contrast, the WPK is a vanguard party. It is the supreme general staff of the Korean Revolution, which unites and leads the people. It guides the construction of socialism in people's Korea. All the achievements of people's Korea are the fruit of the guidance of the Workers' Party of Korea over socialist construction. The leaders of the Workers' Party of Korea and Democratic People's Republic of Korea can in no way be compared to the corrupt, reactionary, elitist politicians of capitalist countries. Comrade Kim Jong Il's hard work at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea ensured the full continuity of ideology. In an article titled "Officials Should Become Communist Revolutionaries Who Are Possessed of the party's original idea and spirit as their mental qualities," published on the 10th of October 2024, respected comrade Kim Jong Il wrote, and I quote, "A revolutionary party should never permit any transformation or reform of ideals and spirit it adopted at the time of its founding." From day one of his work at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, comrade Kim Jong Il strived to ensure the continuity of the lines and policies of the WPK, which were based on the Juche Idea, authored by President Kim Il-sung. He declared, and I quote, "Our party must be united on the basis of the great revolutionary ideology of comrade Kim Il-sung, its founder and leader." End of quotation. It was at this time that the modern revisionists had appeared in the international communist movement. They were not only groveling and kowtowing to the US imperialists, but at the same time, they were actively trying to derail socialism all over the world, including in People's Korea. Comrade Kim Jong Il fought against modern revisionism. He ensured that the party united around President Kim Il-sung in the Juche Idea. He played an important role in defeating the anti-party revisionists at the 15th plenary meeting of the Fourth Party Central Committee, which was held in May 1967. He ensured that the monolithic ideological system of Juche was established, and the monolithic ideological system of the Workers' Party of Korea is seen in the capitalist countries in the West as something very sinister, but it's not. It ensures that society is united. It blocks the infiltration of bourgeois and revisionist ideas. The unity and oneness of ideology within the Workers' Party of Korea was a decisive factor in strengthening its leadership over the socialist revolution and socialist construction. In many countries, particularly the capitalist countries, communist and workers' parties did not ensure oneness in ideology, but embarked on the road of bourgeois liberalism, even going as far to allow and encourage different ideologies within the party. With the result, these parties eventually collapsed. The level of unity and oneness within the Workers' Party of Korea and the whole society of People's Korea is something truly unique, which will not be seen, which cannot be seen in other countries in the world. Later in the 1970s, comrade Kim Jong Il put forward the militant revolutionary slogan, "Let us live our own way," in his famous work titled, "Let us increase the party's fighting efficiency and bring about a fresh turn in the building of socialism." This was an inspiring slogan, inspiring the Korean people to live their own way and to stick firmly to their own mode of struggle at a time when new forms of opportunism and revisionism had appeared in the international communist movement, and the imperialists were intensifying their offensive against socialism. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, traumatic events occurred which convulsed the international communist movement and socialist countries, the USSR and other socialist countries. collapsed owing to the intrigues of the revisionists and the imperialists. Comrade Kim Jong Il was totally unfazed by this situation. He rallied the Korean people to uphold socialist principles. He wrote works such as Our Socialism Centered upon the Popular Masses Shall Not Perish and Abuses of Socialism Are Intolerable, in which he expounded the validity and correctness of the idea of socialism. He also wrote the work Fundamentals of Revolutionary Party Building, which explained the principles governing the building of a revolutionary party. Kim Jong Il was the guiding force behind the Pyongyang Declaration, titled Let Us Defend and Advance the Cause of Socialism, which was initiated in April 1992 and was signed by a large number of communist, workers, revolutionary and progressive parties. Thus, as we, supporters of People's Korea and Juche Idea followers, prepare to greet the 80th anniversary of the foundation of the WPK in October, we should recall the sterling work done by Comrade Kim Jong Il to maintain the revolutionary nature of the Workers' Party of Korea and to ensure its continuity. And a good example of the work of Comrade Kim Jong Il was the publication of Giving Priority to Ideological Work is Essential for Accomplishing Socialism. It seems like it was only yesterday when Comrade Kim Jong Il published this excellent work, Giving Priority to Ideological Work is Essential for Accomplishing Socialism. It was published on the 19th of June 1995, the same day as the anniversary of Comrade Kim Jong Il starting work at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. At the time, the international communist movement and socialist forces were in a state of disarray. Disillusion, in fact, abject disillusion, prevailed. There was retreat and there was confusion. However, People's Korea, under the leadership of President Kim Il-sung and Chairman Kim Jong Il, held high the red flag of socialism and resisted anti-socialism and modern revisionism. Many did not understand why socialism had been frustrated in some countries, and the reactionaries sneered and cackled about the so-called end of socialism, even going as far to claim it was a historical mistake or a quote-unquote failed experiment. With great clarity, Comrade Kim Jong Il explained the simple and basic truth that the neglect of ideological work in some socialist countries had brought about the degeneration and frustration of socialism. Comrade Kim Jong Il wrote, and I quote, "The most serious lesson of the collapse of socialism in several countries is that the corruption of socialism begins with ideological corruption, and that a breakdown on the ideological front results in the crumbling of all socialism's fronts and ends in the total ruin of socialism." End of quotation. This is very true. Ideological weakness or retreat will lead to retreat in other areas of socialist society. I remember visiting Hungary in the 1980s. There was virtually no sign, no visible sign, certainly, of political and ideological work being carried out, but there were Western newspapers on sale, such as those produced by the Rupert Murdoch press, which at the time was being boycotted by trade unions in the UK. There were also Madonna and Rambo posters, and, of course, a McDonald's. In the work, Comrade Kim Jong Il exposes the so-called freedom and ideological diversity that allegedly exists in capitalist society, pointing out, and I quote, "In any society, the ruling class tries to bring about the unchallenged predominance of its own ideology. In capitalist society, where society is split into classes and the people's interests conflict, one ideology cannot hold undivided sway, and it is inevitable that different ideas exist. The imperialists and their mouthpieces claim the existence of these ideas is a source of pride for the free world. However, progressive ideas can never develop freely in capitalist society, where the means of propaganda and education, such as the mass media, are in the hands of monopoly capitalists and reactionary rulers. The reactionary bourgeois ruling class tolerate progressive ideas to some extent to make capitalist society seem democratic. But when they are considered the slightest threat to its ruling system, it mercilessly suppresses them. Outwardly, different thoughts appear to be tolerated in capitalist society, but all kinds of thoughts throughout it are, without exception, none other than various forms and expressions of bourgeois ideology. The freedom of ideology talked about by imperialists is a deceptive slogan to dress up under the signpost of freedom their oppression of progressive ideas in capitalist society and their resorting to every method to propagate reactionary bourgeois ideas. It is a deceptive slogan to justify the ideological and cultural infiltration into other countries. Now, when I read that 30 years ago for the first time, I was very deeply impressed. It struck a chord with me that, and it because it showed that the so-called plurality of thought in capitalist society simply means nothing other than different forms of bourgeois ideology. In Britain, we have the fake left, people like Novara media. We have the revisionists, social democrats, Trotskyites, and anarchists, and you could argue Greens, if you count as part of count the Greens as part of the left. I personally don't, but hey ho. They all represent bourgeois ideology at the end of the day. Comrade Kim Jong Il clearly defines the nature of socialism, pointing out that, and I quote, "Socialism is incompatible with private ownership and the capitalist market economy," end of quote. This deals a telling blow against those who advocate reform, quote unquote, opening up, and the so-called plurality or diversity of ownership. Therefore, the socialist ownership, the means of production, must be consolidated. If it is not done, Comrade Kim Jong Il warns that, and I quote, "If the remnants of old society in socialist society are encouraged to grow, or capitalist economic management methods are introduced in socialist economic management, or worse still, capitalist ownership is revived by encroaching upon socialist ownership, this will result in the economic material basis of socialist ideology being pulled down and the conditions created for the growth of individualism, selfishness, and other bourgeois ideas, in the quotation. Lastly, Comrade Kim Jong Il very correctly warns against the infiltration of imperialist bourgeois ideology in culture, saying, and I quote, through their ideological and cultural infiltration into other countries, the imperialists are working ceaselessly to affect people with ideological diseases, disintegrate those countries from within, and then put them under their domination and control. The imperialists' ideological and cultural infiltration is a way for them to be aggressive and to intervene under the guise of cooperation and exchange. It is a vicious means of counter-revolutionary subversion by which to paralyze people's sound ideological consciousness and to corrupt and make people degenerate by means of reactionary bourgeois ideological poison. End of quote. So to conclude, this is a very important work which I think needs to be read, needs to be studied over and over again. So long live the 61st anniversary of the start of work of Comrade Kim Jong Il at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, and glory to the anniversary of the publication, the 30th anniversary of the publication of Giving Priority to Ideological Work is Essential for Accomplishing Socialism. Thank you for being with me today. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel Sungam 007, please hit the subscribe button and please share content from the channel as much as possible. I'm aiming to keep making videos. There may be some disruption to the channel in the next few months, just to warn people, but you know, we aim to sort of hang in there, as it were. And the most important thing, I think, to strengthen our work and to hit back against the enemies of people's career is your support at our events. Tomorrow we will picket the Yankee Imperialist Embassy. Next week, we've got an online anti-US meeting, and we've got a few other events coming up, and I will be going to Scotland on the 5th of July to make a speech there. So I hope to see as many of you as possible at these events. You can also find publications, not just written by myself, but others in our organisations, and collectively written works on our publications author spotlight, which I'll put a link in the channel. And if you have spare money, you can donate it to us. There'll be links in the description, or directly to myself. Anyway, I wish everybody a very good day. Hope to see you again soon. In fact, we're going to have a joint KFA UK, KFA West of England live stream at the weekend. So see you all there. Goodbye.